guys. Okay, so we need to have a look at how to write evidence and explanation now. And apparently I have already bored my puppy to death. She is very over it. Soz Dot, you're just going to have to deal with it. All right, so let's have a look. We have done topic sentences. Now we are looking at evidence and explanation. So just to recap, here's the topic sentence that we had. Mankiewicz, both writer and director of All About Eve, encourages his audience to have a negative perception of Eve Harrington due to her ambitiousness. So now I need to prove that with some evidence. So evidence. The great thing about doing a film as text is that your evidence, you have like a wide variety of pieces of evidence that you can use. You can use cinematic techniques, so all that camel stuff that we did, so camera angles, costume, music, mise-en-scène, actors, lighting, editing. You can use all of that stuff to justify your response, and they are worth as much, if not a little bit more, than a quote. You can obviously also use quotes, and you can directly discuss a scene. Now, my advice to you is when you are doing your evidence, keep in mind that the person who is reading your essay has seen the film. They know everything that happens in the film. You don't have to tell them who characters are or what's happened before the scene that you're going to talk about or whatever. You don't need to give any background. You just need to talk about the scene. They saw the movie, but they didn't understand what it meant. Your job is to explain to them what it all means. Okay? So what I like to do is I like to kind of combine my evidence, and I like to give a bit of quote, I like to give a bit of cinematic technique stuff, and I like to kind of do a bit of scene discussion. I kind of like to mesh it all together. That way I'm kind of covering all my bases and I'm giving a really good piece of evidence. So here is my example. Eve initially shows her ambitious side when she watches Margot perform in Aged in Wood side stage. Eve is shot in this scene at an extreme close-up, making her intense lust for Margot's role apparent. In addition to this, the cross-cutting between Margot lapping up the audience's applause and Eve's aspiring gaze makes her intentions clear. Okay, so what I've done there is I've got some discussion of camera angles, the extreme close-up, and I've got some discussion about acting. So, you know, the facial expressions, and then I've got some editing stuff where I'm talking about the cross-cutting between Margot and her. I know I'm very extra. All right. Then what I want to do is explain how that proves my point. That's what an explanation does. Basically, your job in an explanation is to say how that piece of evidence that you just gave is relevant and proves your topic sentence correct. Okay? So, what you also want to do, by the by, is make sure you use some keywords in your explanation so that, again, you're just going, hey, look, marker, I'm answering the question. Here it is, right here. So here's mine, my explanation of that piece of evidence. In the first instance of Eve's outwardly demonstrated ambition, it is clear through her intensity of Eve's stare that Mankiewicz believes that there is something sinister and potentially dangerous behind the ambition that she holds. By instructing Anne Baxter is the person who plays Eve, to portray such an intense ambition through her facial expressions and then heighten this effect with the cross-cutting and camera angles, Mankiewicz makes it clear that such an ambitious woman should neither be liked nor trusted. Okay, so can you see how what I'm doing there is explaining how that piece of evidence proved my point that I've made in the topic sentence. Right, now we move to the next thing, which is that we start doing another layer of evidence and explanation, okay? Gone are the days where you give one piece of evidence in a text response. You really need to give a couple, okay, to prove your point. So here's some more evidence. And in this one, I'm going to add some quotes in too. So Eve's ambition becomes increasingly ruthless as the film continues, and as this escalates, so too does the audience's repulsion. Repulsion means like disgust. In the scene where Eve blackmails Karen to receive the part of Cora in Lloyd's upcoming play, she is willing to throw away any chance of rekindling those missed friendships just for a part. When Karen poses this as a question, Eve states frankly that she would do much more for a part that good. Okay, so we've got some embedded quotes here, and you'll notice that I'm embedding the quotes. I'm putting them into my own language. I'm not just kind of going, she says, bleh. Okay, I'm embedding them into my language. And those square brackets, we use square brackets when the quote doesn't quite fit what we want it to say. So in this one, she says, I miss my friends, but I need it to say missed, as in ED. So I can add that by putting the square brackets, okay? And the little dots, that's called an ellipsis. It means that there was something else earlier than that, but I don't need it and it won't work with my sentence. So I can cut it off, but I just need to put those 3 dots, okay? So that's my evidence. Now let's go to explanation. Explanation. Despite declaring how deeply she missed her friends, Eve sees it as nothing to throw away these friendships to pursue her further ambitions. Moreover, she is willing to threaten to ruin the lives of others if they try to prevent her from achieving these ambitions. These actions are inserted into the play by Mankiewicz to show that a woman with true ambition will stop at nothing to reach her goal, thus making Eve distinctly unlikable. Okay, so I'm using those keywords. I'm talking about how that piece of evidence proves my point in the topic sentence. Okay, I'm making it all connect. Now I do another piece of evidence and explanation because, as you guys know, I am extra. So, now I give another piece of evidence. Furthermore, now furthermore is a nice way to kind of transition from one piece of evidence to another. Furthermore, the choice of outfit in the same scene, so I'm talking about the scene that I just discussed earlier, the choice of the outfit in the same scene, black tulle is a type of fabric, is to indicate that Eve is the dark, devious character in the scene compared to the unambitious Karen who is dressed in white. And then I explain that. This costuming enforces the message from Mankiewicz that Karen, who is appalled at the depths of Eve's ambition has stooped to, is the superior woman to the dark, malicious, ambitious Eve. Okay, so again, talking about how my evidence proves my point that ambition makes you unlikable. Then we do our link. Now your link is one sentence at the end of every paragraph that ties up what you have said in that paragraph to your topic sentence and to the main argument, your contention. Okay? So, here's mine. Mankiewicz intends his audience to dislike an ambitious woman by presenting Eve as a ruthlessly ambitious woman willing to sacrifice others for her own needs. Okay, so there what I'm doing is I'm making sure A, I'm using those keywords, B, I'm linking the information that I've just talked to the topic sentence, and then linking that topic sentence back to the question. Okay, all about the keywords, guys. All right, so that is my example. This is what it looks like all together, which obviously you're like, whoa, that's huge. And I mean, it is big, but what's the point of me showing you a C+ essay, right? So what I want to draw your attention to is A, how awesome I am at color coding. B, how often I use the keywords. Can you see? Can you see? Can you see? I use them the whole way through my essay. Why? Because I want to make sure my marker knows I'm answering the question. I want to stay on topic. Okay, the other thing I want you to note is see how much evidence and explanation I give. So I give my evidence and I give as much detail to my explanation as my evidence. Okay, at least. You should always invest as much, if not more time to your explanation than you do your evidence. The reason for that is your explanation is really where you prove that you understand the text, okay? Any monkey can vomit back up a quote, but can you tell me what it means, okay? So make sure that you are giving enough time to your explanations, okay? And if that means that you have to write in color code, so be it, okay? You don't have to, but, you know, if it helps, do it. Okay? So that is how to write evidence, explanation, and link. You're welcome. See you at the next video.